Before getting into this video, I will warn you now, there are going to be major spoilers for the final 4 episodes of Regular Show. If you have not seen the episodes, then please, I urge you to watch them now before continuing this video, as I will not hold back from giving any of that good spoilery goodness. Thank you. So, Regular Show is over, tears have been shed, and everyone is ready to move on, at least. Eventually, I just got done earlier rewatching the episodes just to get ready for this review, and honestly, I gotta admit, I was very skeptical going into these 4 episodes. I was worried that they'd be a bit disappointing, that they wouldn't do right by the show, and my god was I wrong. Now, I'm ready to review the 4 episode finale, so let's go ahead and get right into this. So, starting off this 4 episode finale was an episode titled Cheer Up Pops. Now, this wasn't actually part of the official finale, but I'm still going to review it because it aired on the same day. And, out of the 4 episodes, this one does kind of lead into it, so I still want to count it. So, Pops is obviously quite upset over the fact that in less than 24 hours, he's gonna have to fight his twin brother, Anti-Pops, on his home planet of Lollyland. Obviously, the guys are trying to cheer him up, which doesn't go so well at first, but then they decide to throw a cool-ass party for him, along with some surprise guests. I honestly, for this episode, was not expecting to see Death, the Time Babies, and the David Bowie guy, who I can never remember the name of. I do apologize for that, but this is where the crying started, and yes, I am a wuss. I will concede to that, but these were the characters that I honestly wanted to see the most. I just kept thinking, I want to see Death, I want to see Death, I want to see these characters again. So thank you so much, JG Quintel, already. Although I'm not so sure why they're here at this point for Pops, since they're friends mostly with Skips. They know Skips, so they just know the rest, but I'll roll with it. So that doesn't exactly work, and they decided to use Blu-ray. Yes, they have Blu-ray. The format wars are still apparently going on, even in the final few episodes, which is really cool, to preserve the memories of everyone on Blu-ray discs, which comes in a pretty swell box. I swear, if they actually don't end up making this Blu-ray collection a thing, I'd be very surprised, actually, considering what happened in this episode. They just end up burying it in the ground, which will come back into play again later, don't worry. And that's the episode. There's nothing too special to this episode. It is great to see Death, and it does get me really hyped for the finale. It was just a nice, casual episode, and it's the last casual episode you're going to get, by the way. Don't think you're going to get anything like this. This is as casual as it gets now, because the next episodes are going to get really, really epic. And speaking of the big finale, let's talk about part 1 of a Regular Show epic final battle. Holy shit, this was Exposition 101. So we arrive on Lollyland, and upon walking into the area, we meet with other Popses. Although one of them has probably one of the best and stupidest names ever, Ugly Mushroom Guy. I'm not even joking. They take him to the guardian of the place, who explains that Lollyland stays the same every time when the universe resets, which is why it's so battered and beat up. I really don't know how exactly to explain it. They explain it better in the show, but it's just kind of complicated. So the guys go to see the tapestries, and they see Pops and Anti-Pops fighting the same way every time. Always the same 2 fists colliding, which reset the universe. We even learn Pops' true name, Megacranus. And Anti-Pops' true name, which is something else, Cranus, I don't remember, but really is interesting. So they just decide to set a bunch of traps for Anti-Pops, which when he arrives, and he does eventually arrive, and the fight finally begins, it works. The trap works, they do trap him, they attack him with several different death-defying weapons. However, he survives and ends up saying that it tickles him as the episode ends. And that was a really strong start to the episode. It didn't go downhill from here in any sense. Anti-Pops is shown to be a legitimately threatening presence to me, and the characters introduced are pretty cool as well. Ugly Mushroom Guy, for example. The fight truly begins now, and things don't just get better in part 2, they get so much better. So part 2 is where things start to get intense as fuck. So Pops and Anti-Pops go one-on-one against each other, basically because Anti-Pops says, if you beat me, I'll let you go and everything can go back to being regular. See what they did there? Or if I win, I get to destroy the universe and everything in it. So when it seems like Pops has won, he does end up taking him down, but Anti-Pops just becomes a total dickhead and starts getting all his minions to attack them, so Pops gets our crew to attack him, and everything just goes completely all guns blazing. They even end up having streaming on their side, one of the formats in the Format Wars, so they're kind of wrapping that storyline up, which is really cool. It looks like we're going to be getting a conclusion to the Format Wars, and we do in the end. However, we have DVD and Blu-ray on our side, and one hell of a battle, bringing in Death, the Bowie guy, Time Babies, Baby Ducks, hell, even Party Horse is in the episode. That was kind of a shock, actually. Also, the two guys from the space station we all thought were dead earlier in the season came back. I liked him, and the robot too. Everyone came back for what was by far the most intense battle ever for me. Everyone fuses, just like in the anime episode from, is it season 5, season 6? I don't remember. It was one of those two seasons with the baby ducks. They all fused and they created this giant mech. So again, they fused to create this giant anime mech again as per season 5 or 6 and destroys streaming. Yes, they destroyed streaming, and that means the winner of the Format Wars is DVD and Blu-ray. Thanks for actually wrapping up that storyline. It actually felt really good to see a satisfying conclusion to a mini arc in the show. That was awesome. What else were you expecting? The episode ends with everyone dead, Pops and Anti-Pops fist bumping, and the universe resetting. Yeah, that's actually how it went. Yeah, I honestly lost my shit when everyone came together, because it was all of these characters teaming up for the battle of a lifetime. It's kind of like a cartoon version of Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards, at least it feels that way to me. Now, does part 3, the true final episode of Regular Show, actually disappoint though? Fuck no. It's perfect in every way. And some, even me, might even say that it was better than the ending of Gravity Falls, which it honestly was. So yeah, it was that good. So, you know, I could talk about the last 3 episodes with relative ease, as they were awesome and really cool. Really cool. None of this one isn't in any way, but it's the final episode. There is a lot to get through. So a couple of days before these episodes actually aired, I just want to mention this now, I actually predicted 2 things. Just small little dumb predictions I never thought were going to come true about this episode, you know. So one is that the universe would restart, that they would fist bump and that everything would restart, and we would just instantly snap back to the very first episode, The Power, from season 1. And second, that someone would die. Now, my prediction for that was either it would be Skips or Pops, and you know what? I was right about both. I didn't know this was going to happen. These were just random predictions I made, but it does feel good to actually have got these right. So yeah, I'm not going to go into excessive amounts of detail on this episode, only the biggest and best bits, but yeah, we do go back to the very first episode. They go back to The Power, and you know, when I actually saw that at the beginning of this episode, I was like, wait, I've seen this before. Oh wait, the episode's called The Power. Holy shit, I was right. And yeah, it was really cool to see that again. Just, again, the theme of, like, they're trying to do this a lot in these episodes, just harking back to older episodes of the show to make us feel, you know, like we're gonna miss it, more nostalgic and all that stuff. And I do, I love this show, so yeah. So they end up basically understanding that we're not supposed to be here. Time actually did restart, but it didn't. It's kind of weird. So they end up digging the Blu-ray box because they remember, and then Mordecai doesn't remember, so he remembers because he touches the box. I have no idea what's going on. It's complicated, but it's a good kind of complicated. So they go to what they call the end and have one last confrontation with Anti-Pops. We weren't in that episode for long, the first one, but it does feel some love and nostalgia in there. There seems to be something again that they're doing in these more recent episodes. So they fight, they break the fourth wall by blasting through the title letters Regular Show, which was so cool. This episode was so meta, I love it. Pops and eventually realizes how to defeat Antipops. And he thinks, oh, with love, I shouldn't have been this angry fighting guy the whole time. I should have been doing it my way, my gut feeling, with love. So he hugs him into the sun, sacrificing himself for what he calls a happy ending. And he even says in his thoughts, Mordecai and Rigby, this is a happy ending. And yeah, Pops died, which honestly, like, at this point, I'm a crying mess. It's no surprise why. I'm in sheer pain because this has been awesome and yet heartbreaking at the same time. I'm watching Pops sacrifice himself. And I'm okay and not okay with this at the same time because, yes, I predicted it, but it's Pops. I personally don't want to see anyone die on this show. But he died. It happened. It never... he never came back. He's actually dead. And after this, everyone returns to Earth and we get some really cool montage song going, which is really cool. We see Margaret, we see Rigby's parents, Mordecai's parents. It's really heartwarming. Rigby kisses Eileen really nicely. It was really heartwarming. And Starla has kids! Muscle Man has children now! It's so cool. And, yeah, if I wasn't a mess before, I am now, by this point. So, flash forward 25 years. Yes, 25 years. Rigby has kids. Mordecai found some vampire girl. I don't know what she is. And had kids as well. Hell, even High Five Ghost had kids. Don't even question it, okay? A ghost and a human had a ghost child. Or part ghost, part human, however you want to think. I don't understand. Pops got a statue. Maylard died, I suppose. Which, again, another death. Really? And got another statue. And I suppose Benson owns the park now. Like, he's with the scientist girl from season 7. If you guys remember her, yeah, I sure do. But, yeah, everyone just got a really happy ending. And let's not forget Skips, who still... Skips. Yeah, he didn't change much. He's still the immortal Yeti, so he didn't really get anyone. And then to actually end off the show, a tape reading regular show is removed from a VCR in heaven with Pops up there in heaven saying a jolly good show before we cut to credits. And holy absolute ballfuck. Do not tell me that was anything but good. I honestly, at this point, I have no words. This episode was perfect to me. Maybe it's not to some people, but this episode was perfect to me. They were paced perfectly. In fact, all these 4 episodes were great. They were paced perfectly, gave us exactly what we wanted. They delivered. They delivered with their promise that this was going to be something to really send off the show. It's regular show. It's weird, it's dumb, it's funny, but, they sent it off in the most perfect way. And they showed us how these characters grew over a whopping 25 years so that we're not left wondering what's next. Again, that was a problem I actually had with Gravity Falls, was that the way they left it, it's like, I want to know what's next. I want to know what happened to Dipper and Mabel after they got home, but I'm not going to get to. But here I'm not wondering that. I'm not wondering what's next because I know what happened. Everyone had kids. Benson owns the park. It's all good. Hell, Benson even found new people to work at the park, which look really weird, yeah. Plus, they gave one hell of an epic battle. I think the only thing that can really top this is, that final episode of Steven Universe that will one day come, another Gem War. That's totally gonna happen. Let's just say right now. But, I mean, this was an absolutely phenomenal way to send something like this off. Regular Show was a show that made us laugh, cry, hate and love characters, and it did it well. It closed it off perfectly and it didn't manage to fuck it up, which is what I was worried about, so I didn't have such high expectations, which is why I liked it, I think. So thanks JG Quintal, thanks Cartoon Network, and thanks to everyone who watched and supported this amazing show. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.